Hey everyone, to Apollo Art Analysis. This episode we're going to be studying a piece by the established AI generative artist known as Stephen Young. In this episode, we're going to be talking about near symmetrical harmony, themes of tranquility, and we're also going to discover the contrast between Zen and Brutalism. So let's jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, remember the single pavilion surrounded by all these flooded lilies certainly catches the eye instantly. The viewer's first impression is likely rather calm to see such a tranquil sight before us here. You'll note in the realm of color, we see this kind of split complementary scheme, right? You have this kind of blue and green as those kind of main base colors, and have a bit of orange as well that really pops out and catches the eye. So all in all, these are rather balanced. It retains that balance between the blue and the green, but it does contrast and draw the eye with that orangish red. So very important here. And so this piece is actually an exploration of a kind of aesthetic or a stylistic study. And of course, we see this water lily is quite clear, right? And that was actually kind of a style or a theme that they were working with previously. I'm talking about the parrot prompters, if you will. So absolutely stunning. And the setting here is quite interesting, right? We see what's called a Zen garden. And a Zen garden is, there's so many different things you could talk about that, but mainly you want to talk about this sense of kindness or this emptiness or being connected to the serenity of nature. So I actually have, so that's a Brutalist reference, and then we're going to have this here. So this piece is a Brutalist Zen garden, and then on here I have a Zen garden example as well. What I find so important, I'm just going to move that out of the way there. What I find so important here, and the reason I chose this piece specifically, is because of this cold concrete. It actually feels like a Brutalist Zen garden in a few ways, right? So in the Zen garden, we normally see water of some kind, and of course the garden, you have that natural element as well. Really, for countless centuries, we have seen garden used to kind of incorporate the wild aspect of nature within kind of ordered civilization. We see this everywhere from Asia, of course, the Zen garden, all the way to Babylon and beyond. So it's absolutely stunning. The Zen garden, there is no doubt that it's incredibly tranquil. You may even feel invited to come in and relax at a site such as this. I know I do, certainly. So absolutely stunning. And of course, the Zen garden is incredibly tranquil and incredibly sacred as well. So we'd love to see those insights. And so with this in mind, what do y'all feel when you view this piece? Do you feel like, kind of visit this place, sit down and relax by the side? How do you feel when you view this piece? Or what do you see when you view this piece? Two very important questions when we're checking out this work. And so it's absolutely stunning, right? If you look at the composition, there is this kind of triangular order, if you will. And what we see this most notably, of course, we have this kind of central pavilion, the central kind of stage, if you will. And you also have a bit of placements on either side. And what I notice here is actually a triangular order. So if we were to draw, drawn in VR in probably literal months. So let's do this real quick. Probably red is best. So we take red here. Of course, you have the tip there, but there is this sense of the triangular order. So it goes across, kind of goes up to that tip, right? And so the reason I pointed this out is because there's a sense of order in the composition, right? It feels balanced, it feels harmonious, and it feels ordered to the most sacred degree. So I think that's, incredibly important when we're looking at this work. And this sense of harmony is incredibly, incredibly interesting, right? Oh, I forgot one thing. Sorry. All right, so yeah, it's incredibly interesting. There is this sense of order and balance like we talked about, which you may also notice is the near symmetrical nature of the composition as well. So we see this most notably split or mirrored across a vertical central axis, right? So on either side, the placement of the buildings, the way the water kind of ends, even the shrubs on either side, it gives a sense of symmetry to the work at hand. And just like that kind of triangular order, it gives a sense of balance and it gives a sense of harmony as well. So that feels incredibly divine and even sacred in that initial impression as well. What's so interesting is when we talk about beauty, we typically point to a sense of harmony. And, when things are ordered and when they're placed in the perfect place, they're balanced, whether it's color, whether it's form. And there's so many different things you could point to, but we normally put orderedness or kind of balance or harmony as the beauty or the divine as well. So when we see that conveyed, it's incredibly important. It's always remember to kind of think back to that idea, right? And so what we see here as well is actually themes of brutalism. So what brutalism is, it's primarily a style of architecture. A little shaky hands. It's primarily a style of architecture. What you'll see here, it's incredibly minimalistic, right? They took minimalism to its most extreme and embodied form. So we see this here. It's very raw. It's very strong. It's very cold as well. Of course, you have all that concrete. It's most common in kind of urban settings. skyscrapers and things like that. But what we see here, of course, the artist takes what is traditionally a very cold and kind of raw art form and architecture and places it within the Zen garden. So there is this sense of contrast where, of course, when people think about a city or an urban environment, they don't think of nature traditionally. They think of maybe the opposite of nature. But what we see here, just like the kind of biomechanical tree in the past that we just showcased from, he takes two traditionally contrasted ideas and perfectly unifies them. So this harmony is absolutely stunning, and of course you see the immense power of the artist's ability to do that as well. So brutalism, incredibly important, and we see this kind of achieved within the work at hand here, in contrast to the Zen garden as well. We're going to talk a little bit about that Zen garden, see what we can learn here, and then we're going to head out. So we talked a bit about the Zen garden earlier, right? It is very minimalistic. It feels very natural, of course, a garden, and it really emphasizes the kind of stillness or the emptiness, right? This is very common with Zen. Zen, in many ways, is meant to kind of show that the whole is just as important as the emptiness as well, right? So you have that kind of sense of the yin and yang, both define each other by one another's existence, right? Incredibly important when we're looking at this work. There is this immense sense of tranquility within the work before us here, and it's absolutely stunning. It really follows in alignment with, of course, the Zen garden. What I think is so interesting is the brutalist style actually follows a bit of Zen as well, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is the kind of very minimalistic, very reduced form of brutalism is very common to what we see in the Zen kind of discipline, the Zen philosophy, Zen Buddhism, refining forms down to the most basic is a very core aspect of Zen, right? This sense of minimalism, it all goes in hand. So it's incredibly important here. Really hope y'all enjoyed today. Like I said, you see this incredible contrast between kind of nature and concrete, but here it's unified in perfect harmony. So it's absolutely stunning, right? And this piece is an AI generative artwork, so it was created in an AI art program. Midjourney really offering the perfect mix of power and accessibility, right? Everyone from amateurs all the way to professionals are using Midjourney. So if y'all want to get into it, I would certainly suggest it. I believe right now they do a Discord server. You kind of do /imagine. You can create whatever you'd like. It's absolutely stunning, and we always love to study such profound symbolism here, whether it's the Zen garden, brutalism, or say the intersection and the unity of both of those as well. Absolutely stunning. We talked about so many different things today, from near symmetrical harmony all the way to, of course, brutalism, the exploration of different aesthetics, Buddhism, so many different things we hit on today. I truly hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did, go check out the original artist Stephen Young doing some amazing stuff in the world of AI generative art and even a lot of computer science stuff as well, so be on the lookout for that. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.